I want you to look at a food and say, is that a God food? Was
Yeah.
that growing or living? Does it wilt? Did it have a mother? You know, was
Right.
it ever alive? That's
Yeah.
an easy
Right.
criteria. And then, or was it not? Because we don't have to get so down the rabbit hole about what we need to avoid and what's the most harmful thing. We just
Mm.
need to redefine our relationship with what food is. And then you don't have to worry about that type of stuff because
Right.
that's what they were starting to do, work around consumer education. And I think when we worry about exclusivity, we can become manipulated by food marketers very quickly because then they're
Right.
claiming 0 grams of trans fat or look at
Right.
this window versus what are you actually getting in this
That's
product?
right. That's right. Yep. So good. So good.
So
All right.
I have a question about like if let's say a child is already hooked on this ultra processed foods and
Mm.
sugar, what's a actionable step that a parent could take to just start the process of removing all of that so it doesn't feel like this big restrictive shaming of what the child is eating?
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally. Yeah, I love that question. So, I find food as medicine as a double-edged sword. So it's both about restriction and abundance. And yes, restriction or removal has to exist, but I don't think that that has to be the first step. I think the first step would be abundance and trying to find whole food recipes that you and your child enjoy, find pleasure in from the process of making it through eating it, right? And so maybe it's a start of abundance in the sense of like, let's come up with 3 entrees for dinner that we can use in rotation that we feel really confident about. And then maybe it moves forward to like the after school snack. Instead of doing something in a package, we're going to make a smoothie every day after school. And that's going to be a new ritual that we're establishing. And the smoothie recipe can change depending on the age of the child. Now that's kind of on trend. They might want to find a recipe, or you can, we're going to do frozen mango with coconut milk today. Tomorrow is going to be cacao powder and peanut butter. So, you can kind of slice, dice how you like that. But that's a really good, I think, anchoring. Think of like the anchoring, change making, impactful choices that are going to be easier wins
Yeah.
before, yeah, the gauntlet of, hey, we're
Yeah.
swapping out the entire, get the trash bag, shock and awe moment in the television segment type of thing. I think that, like I said, there is freedom in it. And innately, we thrive on viable, real food. And so if we have guided conversations of empowerment versus allowing the child to see victimization through it, and that's a slow and steady, aware process,
Mm.
that then it should become a lot easier. And especially if we know our child's hook. And so, depending on wherever they are in their age, it's,
Right.
hey, buddy, it's really important for me. I've just learned these things. And I'm sorry, I haven't maybe made, or collectively, you don't have to wear the blame yourself per se, but I think there's an okay conversation to say, hey, I've learned these new things. These are things that I think could help the both of us. And I think for you and your goals of boom, 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 if we make these certain changes, you're going to see boom, 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 more resilience on the soccer field, less headache frequency. I mean, I don't know again what's going on with said
Sure.
child, but I think we need to always anchor into our why. And watch for the victimization. My daughter is 9. She's grown up in my household, so her first food was avocado, followed by salmon, by blueberries. Uh, it's going to be interesting as she gets into tweens. I just had her on my podcast as a guest, and I think we had an awesome conversation. And she talked about how kids are talking about a sugar storm, or a sugar, I forget what phrase she used.
Hmm.
And she says, you get real sweaty, you laugh until your head falls off, and then your belly hurts and you feel like you need a nap. And I'm like, yeah, like that's a blood sugar spike and a crash. And we
Yeah.
talked about food freedom and whatnot. And she said, she's like, it's either you feel really good now or you're not going to feel that good. And I like feeling good. And it's like, it's pretty easy to connect those dots when we're seeing it going on in real time and we know how to do better.